My name is Reverend Rachel Mash and I'm the coordinator of Fikelela, and Fikelela is the HIV ministry of the Anglican Church in the Diocese of Cape Town. And one of the ministries we're involved in is mobilising churches to make a difference in the area of HIV, because we believe that each church has a group of potential volunteers. They've got a mandate to serve the community, they've got a building to use, and that's the most effective way of the Anglican Church reaching out. So the task teams do very different things. The first thing is that they're a small group of people in the church who've got a passion for HIV. So they have to get issues of HIV into the church, which may involve organising a World AIDS Day service, a candlelight service to remember those who've passed away, celebrating Orphan Day on the 1st of June, getting information into the pew leaflets, statistics to make people think about it, organising educational workshops and things like that, so that the church is aware of what's happening in the area of HIV. And the second thing is to get the church into HIV, is getting the church doing something practical. Sometimes churches start with something very simple, which may be collecting food for a support group for HIV positive people, knitting sweaters for orphans. But what we say is take that you're doing, bring it to the front of the church, pray for it, send it out into the community so that it increases awareness of the needs in the community. And I remember one church which took quite passionately this idea of collecting food parcels for people living with HIV, and they started a food parcel project, and it grew and grew. And then one man said, you know, it's amazing what's happened in this church, because we used to have like a clique where we would fight. There were those who wanted us to sing traditional hymns and those who wanted us to bring in the more modern choruses. And now we're coming together around this project, and suddenly we realise that that's really not important. There are greater needs out in the community. And one of the other programs that we do with the task teams is to start support groups at the churches for those who are living with HIV. Now, our diocese is very diverse. We've got communities that have HIV rates as low as 7%, up to communities with HIV rates as high as 38%. So what we try and do is twin churches. So a church with a high HIV rate might start a support group where positive people come together once a week or once a fortnight for support. And another church might support them practically with perhaps income generating projects or food parcels, or help them to start a food garden. And one of the amazing things is to see how within those support groups the barriers can break down. Somehow people can, because they're both living with the same issue, they can encourage and support each other. And we have one particular support group which is incredibly varied. It's in the city centre. And we have refugees, we have transvestites who come, we have straight people, we have gay people, we have Xhosa-speaking people, Afrikaans-speaking people, and somehow they managed to gel. And I remember one time we were doing a icebreaker, and I had a little 16-year-old Xhosa-speaking girl from a very rural area, and I had a transvestite guy, very sophisticated guy. So I told them to find 5 things that they had in common. So they talked away, and then they came back very excited because they said, we both like shoes, we both like to travel, and suddenly they found that they had a lot in common. And I was very humbled the one time because this young girl, she was being beaten up by her partner. She had a small baby, and one day I was at the support group and she said that she needed to leave, that she wasn't safe anymore. So I said that I would take her to a shelter, and this other chap, the transvestite guy, wanted a lift back to his house as well. And it was pouring with rain, and she had this tiny baby. And we were on the way to the shelter, and he said to her, he said, Masikole, if you don't get into that shelter, then you're going to come and stay with me. And he and his partner live in this tiny shack. They have hardly any space. But he said, baby is too tiny to be out on the street in this cold weather. And you must just come and we'll move over, we'll make some space, and you're going to sleep with us tonight. And I felt so incredibly humbled, because here we often think that we're the good Christians reaching out, and yet actually I saw more of Christ in him